Data center operator Digital Realty Trust has announced its intention to acquire a majority stake in Africa-based Teraco, valuing it at about $3.5 billion. Home working, as governments try to contain COVID-19, has increased the need for data centers or physical spaces that house computers to store and process data. In a series of multi-billion-dollar deals, infrastructure and real estate funds have entered the sector. Joining us to talk more about that, Lawrence Messi, analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Lawrence, you're welcome. So we have this Teraco deal valued at $3.5 billion. We also had the Main One deal. I think it was Equinix that valued them about $320 million or so. What's your take on what's happening in the Africa data center space and these divergent valuations we're seeing?
Well, Happy New Year, first of all.
Happy New Year, Lawrence. You're welcome. Yeah. Exactly. Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me. So the data center space in Africa is, in one word, it's rising, it's growing. And I'm just going to use just a few data points to just suggest that. So Partech Partners said that the number of deals in Africa by startups is 349 startups have done 359 deals in 2020 alone. And let me remind you, that was a pandemic year. So we're seeing an increasing number of businesses. The population in Africa as well, another good data point, is about 1.3 billion people. So there's a lot more people coming into Africa, whether through migrations or through birth, and they are using a lot more technology because this is a technologically informed age. So we're seeing a lot more use of data by firms, and new firms coming up. They will need enterprise-wide solutions. They will need management information systems. They would need customer databases. So there's a lot of need for data right now, both on a personal level and an institutional level. In terms of the divergent valuations between Main One and Teraco, I think I would just put it out there that I feel it's more of a strategic advantage that Teraco had. So if you look at the South African demographic or the South African data market, there are about 16 data centers. They encourage a lot of foreign entrants. Like we have Amazon Web Service and we have Microsoft Azure. They all have investments in data centers in South Africa. So there's that strategic advantage that they have when compared with Main One. So I guess that factors a lot more into the higher valuation that Teraco got over Main One.
What about the importance? You look at these two transactions that you just mentioned. What about the importance of data centers to the ecosystem? What about that?
Well, it's actually just quite straightforward, really, the importance of data centers. So first is data storage. A lot of companies have a lot of data. Imagine just one bank and the amount of data they have on depositors, withdrawals, deposits. That's just one company. So they have a lot of data. They need somewhere to store it. And these companies provide, these data centers provide these solutions. We need data processing. And then in the modern data center, we are seeing something called the multi-data center cloud system, where information is being uploaded into the cloud, but across different data centers. So this is on a high level the importance of data centers, but on a lower level, we're talking about things like email and file sharing processes. We're talking about customer relationship management, CRM. We're talking about ERP, enterprise resource planning for all these organizations. So these data centers provide kind of an outsourced service that businesses can rely on with the security, with the infrastructure, and all of this forms the importance of data centers in a nutshell.
Perfect. So now I need to ask you about Africa's share of global data centers. I think Africa is 12-15% of the population, yet only accounts for about 1%. Is it 2% of data? 1.5% of data centers across the world. How do we improve that?
Well, first you need to look at the data center itself. Some are virtual, some are physical, but one thing is certain that there needs to be a lot of space. I mean, physical space to situate the physical infrastructure. Then we're talking about electricity, because some of these centers use up to maybe 10, 15 megawatts of electricity. And then we're now talking about the data apparatus itself. So we need the routers, the switchers, whatever IT people call them, and then the supporting infrastructure. All of this put together is cost intensive. And then when we look at Nigeria, that is not really sufficient electricity production just yet. So by the time you add other costs of maybe diesel or solar powered inverters. There is so much that goes into building this. So we're talking about a lot of investment, but we can't lay all of this on the government. So there needs to be a more business-friendly climate for people to situate these data centers. There needs to be a lot more partnerships, especially with incumbent telecoms or other web servicing firms in Nigeria, so maybe Glo, MTN, and Wi-Fi provider, like maybe I forgot the name.
There's so many
Spectrum,
names,
yeah.
there's so many names, yeah.
So a lot of partnerships, and also the government can also have a stake in it with a lot of public-private partnerships. I think a lot of people forget that the private sector also exists, and they also have the capacity to fund on. So we can't lay everything on the government. Sometimes the private sector can collaborate on that, whatever contract you want to call it, whether a BOT or whatever, and they can now invest strategically in getting the space, the electricity requirements, and then partner with already technological savvy firms to provide maybe the routers, the Wi-Fi, whatever you need. So these are things they need to drive data center capacity in Africa generally.
We only got about 30 seconds. Do you think we'll see more deals like this? Quickly, in 30 seconds, if you can.
I believe yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we'll have him back to talk more about data centers. Lawrence Messi, he is, of course, an analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Thank you so much for joining us.